Selling your primary residence to start real estate investing. My wife and I did it, and I'm here to share the story as to why it made so much sense and how it got us on the fast track to being professional real estate investors. My name's Shawn McEnteer. You know me as the house hacking realtor of Northern New Jersey, and I'm here to keep sharing more stories about how house hacking can change your life and how you can be on the fast track of getting to your financial goals. I want to make sure to reduce and remove the failure rate of new investors coming in today's market, and today's video is going to be all about how my wife and I literally sold that awesome, amazing single family, and it did things that we never believed were possible, but it's all because we took action and we decided to do things a little bit differently than most, and that's where we got ourselves to the situation we're in today, which is owning another single family, but our house hacks pay for it all. So if you want to be in a position where you have multiple properties, lots of equity, and the ability for those properties to pay in your dream home, well, this is the perfect video for you. If you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening in Northern New Jersey, house hacking, make sure you click subscribe so you can be the first to know about future videos when they come out. Give us a like, and always share with a friend you think that this video could benefit. So plain and simple, my wife and I, when we first started investing, we knew we wanted to invest, did not know how to invest, bought that single family property, and we thought we were in such a great spot. It was close to a train station, it was a pretty desirable town. But ultimately, we got in relationship with other investors that were investing at a much higher level, and we decided, you know what, there's a lot of different strategies out there, and we saw that multifamily properties could accelerate our growth on such a faster pace. So what we decided to do is to sell that initial single family, then buy duplexes and start house hacking. It wasn't easy, I'll be very honest. At first, we had this single family, we bought it with the expectations that this is gonna be an investment property long-term. So selling it just was not exactly something that we thought would be the best. So was not an easy move to make. On top of it, my first son was born in that property, and when we decided to make the decision that we wanted to sell this property as a house hack, my second son was born. So we had a lot going on, but ultimately we realized that having this property was not easy. We pretty much every single week had to work 40 hours each. My wife worked 40 hours, I worked 40 hours, and all of our money went towards paying a mortgage, our car payment, and very, very little left over for anything fun. So our whole lifestyle was based around working to pay for a mortgage of the single family property. We were able to get a little bit creative, had a roommate for a short period of time, but it's like we had kids and everything, so it's like, do you really want roommates in your single family house? Didn't really make sense to us. So we were collecting some income, but it was nothing compared to what we were able to do when we got that multifamily. So what's so awesome about selling the single family is we didn't have to pay any of the capital gains tax. Because my wife and I are married, that means you do not have to pay up to $500,000 of capital gains on that property. We were renovating, which was great, so that was allowing us to get to some increased equity, which I'm sure someone like yourself might have right now, especially if you bought your property before or around COVID. There's a really, really good chance that you have a lot of equity, even if you have not updated things, and that's really the goal of this, is showing you how to leverage that equity in a way to get multiple properties. The downfall with all this is buying a multifamily property while owning a single family is not exactly easy. Most banks are going to require that you have to put 25% down, which is a lot of money. When you look at the national average of being around $500,000 for a property, to buy an investment with 25% down, that is a large chunk of change. You're looking at $125,000 minimum plus closing costs. So having a strategy where you move into the property is gonna leverage things in a really, really significant way, because it's gonna allow you to use owner-occupied loans. And that's the beauty of all this, is when you buy a duplex, whether it is a duplex, triplex, or quad, you can put as low down as 0%. If you have a certain kind of loan, like a VA loan, or you do FHA at 3.5%, or my favorite, the low money down conventional mortgage. And that allows you to get to a property very, very cheap. $1 million home could cost you only $50,000 plus closing costs, significantly less. So now you look at the property that you own currently, a single family. Maybe you have $100,000 worth of equity, $200,000, maybe $300,000. It's possible. Homes appreciated like crazy, especially if you did some value add in that home. There's a really good shot you have a nice chunk of change in there. Selling that property and moving into a duplex will allow you to get an asset that you do not have to work for the rest of your life in order to afford, because you're gonna move into one unit, rent out the other. Tenants will pay a good portion of that mortgage. Once you move out, they're gonna pay probably the whole mortgage. And if they're not, you're gonna be really close to having the mortgage paid for. Most rents are gonna go up every single year, while interest rates should be going down in the near future. If you think interest rates are gonna go down in the near future, why don't you drop a comment below, because I wanna hear your feedback and I wanna see what you think on that. So buying the multifamily property becomes an asset because you can walk away from it and it works for you. Whereas the single family we could never escape from. We always had to work 40 hours a week. My wife and I, regardless of what the schedule looked like, we had to make sure that we were slaves to our job because of that property. So you right now, possibly living in a single family home, you have a tremendous advantage. Maybe you have children, maybe you have a spouse, maybe you're by yourself. It doesn't make a difference. You could go into a multifamily and have a short little sacrifice to get that long-term gain, especially if you have significant liquid cash. A lot of multifamilies that I close on are really nice. A matter of fact, that first single family that we purchased, the multifamily that we moved into was significantly larger. We lived in a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath single family home. The unit that we lived in our house hack was a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, which is a lot more spacious, a lot more rooms. So even as our family was growing, living in that duplex was really nice because it was just spacious and it allowed for us to keep growing. So we actually had more room, which is pretty crazy. You sell the single family, you get the significantly high capital gains that you get to keep all in your pocket. You're now gonna go look for multifamily homes and you'll be putting a low money down loan. Now there's a lot of different options you can go here. You can do turnkey property, you can do a value add property, you can do a combination of both, or maybe it's something where you do cosmetic upgrades and the home itself is structurally good, but you're doing some form of upgrades. It's gonna be wherever your comfort level is. But the fact that you're coming into this with significant liquid cash and you're putting a low down payment, you're gonna have money left over. You're gonna be in a very good position for doing some form of value add. So I highly suggest it because that's gonna allow you to get to the second house hack much easier because it's gonna force the appreciation and it's also gonna raise rents. You're gonna get higher rents if you have a more desirable unit. Doing things like updating bathrooms, updating the kitchen, flooring, all that kind of stuff, making it a very desirable unit, attracting a luxury, higher quality tenant is gonna allow you to set the property on autopilot so you're not getting phone calls, text, emails every single night from tenants. The goal of this is to have a property that you can set on autopilot while you then move to the next house hack and rinse and repeat. Having something where you increase the value gives you equity and essentially is a pay yourself model. What I mean by that is if you buy, let's say, a $500,000 property and you put it with 5% down instead of 20 or 25% down, and then you increase the value of that $500,000 property maybe to, let's say, a $700,000 property, you just acquired a $700,000 property by putting the money that you would have used as your down payment towards the property itself. So now you have significantly more equity in a shorter period of time because you increase the value of the home. If you could do this strategy multiple times, it will allow you to get to financial freedom very easily. Hey, be quiet, I'm filming. So value add is a very, very crucial play in all this, but that's easier to do when you have the liquid cash. So having equity from a single family home, that will allow you to now leverage the property that you're moving into, whether you're doing the work, you're subbing out the work. It's just very easy when you have significant liquid cash. Love my cold brew. drop a comment below if you like cold brew as well. Let's talk a little bit more about the process of selling that primary and going into the multifamily. There's actually a lot of flexibility with sellers nowadays. So selling that primary property, you could potentially sell it and rent it back while you look for the next property, or you find the next property right away and you do a double close. So you close on the same day, or maybe there's a little bit of a gap there. Maybe you close a little bit earlier. There's ways of doing it and timing it. I've got clients doing it every single day and it actually works very easily. So not to be scared, you can sell your property and move into the next. It's very common. Looking to learn a little bit more about real estate and connect and dive deeper with some of your real estate goals? But why don't you book a call below? I'm always happy to hop on and share my story and make sure that your real estate moves can be very, very smooth. So look, fast forward into today, we have multiple house hacks that pay for the single family that we live in literally right now. It's fully funded by those properties. And it's all because we made that decision to leave the single family that we're living in, that we're actually slaves to. We literally had to pay every single month, work every single month to that multifamily or to that single family ourselves. And now we have multifamilies that are literally paying for the house that we live in, which is awesome. The house that we live in is a value add opportunity. So we're always producing equity. So we have possibilities of buying more properties and keeping it going. If you want to learn a little bit more about house hacking and what it takes to house hack and just what house hacking is all about, you're probably gonna want to check out the video right there. And I'd suggest clicking it and fire some questions, reach out anytime. I want to have a conversation with you to learn a little bit more about how I can make house hacking your future.